Welcome to Transport for London. This is what you're faced with when riding the tube to Peckham. If you're not from London, you might see a post like this online and go, oh man, London, very scary. Even though there are quite a few not so subtle hints in this that it is not real, as we'll go into. London is chaotic and full of crime. But also London is a ghost town. Wonder how that works. An analysis of Reddit by King's College London found that the number of posts claiming London is dangerous and lawless rose from 874 in 2008 to over 258,000 in 2024, despite the fact that crime has gone down in the city. So something huge must be going on here, right? Why does the internet seem to think that London is such a dangerous place to the point where people in London find it overwhelmingly safe, but those outside the city do not? Yeah, these graphs are going to make a whole lot more sense as this video goes on. My name is Edinger, and I've lived all across London for over 13 years. Let's figure out why the internet is terrified of London and what's actually behind it. We're going to start off with this now deleted tweet, because I think it's the best example of what exactly is going on. Welcome to Transport for London. This is what you're faced with when riding on the tube to Peckham. It's time we banned all face coverings on public transport. There's no need for this. Zero tolerance. Originally attached was a video of a lot of men wearing balaclavas and what appears to be a London Underground train. Judging from the red poles, that would make this the Central Line. My first question is, how does this post make you feel? To the layman, this post reads like a London resident who had a train journey they felt really uncomfortable on. They're afraid. To the average Brit that hasn't been to London, they might clearly recognize the name Peckham as part of London that has a bit of a dodgier history, as depicted on the famous British TV show Only Fools and Horses from the 80s.
Peckham. Just get me back to Peckham as soon as possible.
Peckham also comes up in the media these days for having a large Black and Caribbean diaspora. So with this context and the language used in the post, the average Brit should be afraid, I guess. And the fact that this is what London has become should make you demand something to be done about it. And I agree, something should be done about it. Let's break this down. So I bet when you heard me add the fact that the red poles mean it's the Central Line, well, you might have thought this is where the gotcha is. Like, I bet there's no Central Line train to Peckham or something. But we don't even have to look at the image to know that. You see, this is what you're faced with when riding the tube to Peckham. My friends, there is no tube to Peckham. Peckham sits squarely in South London, which notoriously has had very bad connections with the London Underground and is famous in London for being more difficult to get to. Back when I lived in Peckham, just south of Burgess Park, I'd have to walk 35 minutes to get to the nearest underground station of Elephant and Castle, which is on the Northern and the Bakerloo line, or I could hop on the 136 bus to get to the station. Peckham Rye Station exists on the Overground, but the important bit of context you'd miss if you were not from London is that no Londoner refers to the Overground as the Tube, because it's not the Tube, it's the Overground. The Tube is the Underground. Something tells me this isn't from a London resident at all. That, and even if this were a simple language slip, the Overground trains have orange poles, and as we said, the Central Line from this still, well, that would be red, and the Central Line goes nowhere near Peckham. But another still I managed to pull from the video before it was deleted was this one, featuring, quite an interesting London Underground map. All the lines seem to be going the same way. That's weird. If you need me to spell it out for you any further, this is fully AI-generated slop, produced to make you afraid of London. It's not real, but the feelings you get from it and the way it alters your perception of the city very much are. Not everything scary you see about London is AI-generated, but I mean, if you scroll through this particular account behind the AI-generated Peckham tweet, one thing becomes incredibly obvious. This patriot, which is a word no real British person would use to describe themselves, sure does tweet a lot. In fact, over 30 times a day, and it's always the same. Immigrant scary, London scary, and it's the same on Facebook. Here's an unassuming account, Pippa Thompson, a marketing advisor for small businesses, upgrading your social media game with a tasty twist. What is that tasty twist, you might wonder? Well, let's look through the reels. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. You kind of get the vibes just from the thumbnails, huh? Well, let's look into this one then.
Oh, I'll tell you what, don't get me fucking started now. I've just seen something else. Oh, fucking fuming.
What's she seen? I'm so invested.
Swearing. Sadiq Khan. He's just announced. I've got to read it because he's just announced a new proposal to build 40,000 new council homes, specifically prioritised for Muslims under the Muslim housing plan. They're to be built near mosques and halal shops.
Oh my God.
Am I hearing that right? Is that not divisive? Is that inclusivity? Can you imagine if we made an announcement that the government are building 14,000 new homes, but they're going to prioritise them for non-Muslims or Christians? The world's going freaking mad.
Yeah, that does sound pretty divisive. The Muslim Housing Act seems a bit on the nose though, doesn't it? She's filming this like she's just watching her Facebook slot feed and just reading whatever it gives to her out loud to make content. Like, am I hearing this right? Yeah, honey, you are. You're on Facebook in 2026, which should be embarrassing to you. But hey, why don't we just go to this website? It's one of my favorites. If you haven't heard of it, I love it. It's Google, right? Let's type in Muslim Housing Act. Oh, would you look at that? It's a complete bullshit. Oh, what a surprise. Oh man, it sounded so real. That's why they call them Facebook Reels, right? Mayor Sadiq Khan is going to build 40,000 council homes. Full stop. Like, he's just building council homes. So why would Pippa Thompson share this on her Facebook? Because Pippa Thompson isn't real either. The comments on the post might not know that, but this account exists just to upload a constant stream of right-wing misinformation. However, the woman behind this post is real, and her brand on TikTok is literally just finding anything she can be angry at about the UK, and Islam in particular. I guess that's cool with TikTok. On this account and a secondary account, she floods the algorithm with racist diatribes, AI nonsense, and a thick pipeline of rage-baiting misinformation. And lucky for Sarah, if that is her real name, this is exactly what the TikTok algorithm likes and actively promotes. And everybody makes money from it, so win-win, right? And you might think, well, only an absolute idiot would believe half of this stuff here. Yeah, I know. I said it was on TikTok and Facebook. Look at these comments. These people don't experience critical thought, they're here. I love that at the bottom of the full fact article, debunking these claims made specifically in this TikTok, they have this cute little bit like, before sharing claims that you see about politicians on social media, it's important to consider whether they come from a trustworthy and verified source. Ma'am, I'm really sorry, but no one that is on this page doesn't already know that. To these grifters and influencers making money from spreading disinformation on short-form algorithms, they know it's not true. That's not the point. It's not about if it's right or not. It's about how it makes you feel and how much money they can make out of it. This anti-London disinformation does happen on YouTube too. I mean, just last month we had this beautiful work of art from South African Kurt Kaz as he walks down the most touristy street in all of London with a bodyguard.
The infamous Oxford Street.
Because as you know, London's scary. So scary, in fact, that look what happens when a fire truck passes him in his vlog.
So it's already kicked off. The emergency services are out and about. I feel a certain energy in the air, like something's brewing.
Whew, yeah, mate, really kicked off. That fire truck must be like heading to put out a fire or something. Fire's very scary. But it seems he wasn't able to get the divisive content he was looking for on Oxford Street. Surprise, surprise, a really popular street for tourists and shops, and you didn't get in a fight or something? What a shame. And he said so himself as he then headed to West Croydon, arguably not part of London.
To Croydon, the infamous West Croydon town centre. I don't think we're going to get a lot of confrontations when I'm rolling with Leo.
It's a shame I'm not going to get any confrontations when I'm rolling with my bodyguard. Aw, what a shame. So scary. You gotta hand it to him. He did try his best instigating fights with literally every person he came across, being as antagonistic as possible. But no one would take the bait. One Londoner on Oxford Street just rightfully said it was a load of nonsense and walked off.
Very careful. That's correct. A lot of nonsense. Is that so? What do you want to
Someone please buy that woman a pint. But the saddest part of the video is when a fan recognizes Kurt from Facebook, gives him a fist bump, and pops a wheelie for the video. It sounds quite sweet. Here Kurt is in bloody Croydon, desperately looking for some sort of confrontation he can monetize, and then a smiling fan of his shows up and attempts to give Croydon a good name. How was he to know that Kurt would use this exact moment to make him look like a big scary criminal using AI for clicks? Here's the still from the actual video. bike guy seems nice and smiley. Got an everyday piri-piri chicken back there and a hair and beauty place. But a peaceful street with a smiling cyclist isn't going to drive views. That'd be too positive of news. So this is the thumbnail he went with in the end. Everyday chicken is now what appears to be gibberish Arabic letters that don't actually mean anything, and the other shop has become some form of Sanskrit. And our friendly Croydon man, well, now he's got on a balaclava. Because as you know, say it with me, London very scawy. And along with the 8 or 9 grand that Kurt made from AdSense walking around London like a little pussy with a bodyguard constantly saying he was surrounded by hostiles, my man also made further G's plugging some random eSIM brand that's more than happy to appear in this type of content. And hey, YouTube still has monetized this video, so it seems like YouTube is okay with this. And sure, the last 3 haven't been real in the slightest, but crime does happen in London, and I've heard online it always goes unpunished. London must be some sort of crazy lawless city, right? Here's a banger tweet from totally not red flag username Islam Invasion. This isn't a movie. It's a city where crime pays. Brazen daylight robbery in London. No resistance, no arrest, just unbothered. What happened to law, order, and consequences? Before I even show you the full video, I do hope you've seen my video on how to spot AI writing, but if you've not, well, what do we have here? This isn't a movie, it's a city where crime pays. This isn't just X, it's Y. The next sentence, well, you'd think would end with a period. Why are there commas there? Oh, okay, they just replaced the M dashes ChatGPT came up with commas. That's why it looks and reads so weird. It's a fully AI-generated tweet with some lazy attempts to hide that. The video itself is real, right? So what if the tweet from account Islam Invasion is AI written, I hear you say. The video is clearly showing the lawlessness of modern London, which seems to agree with a lot of the posts you've seen online recently. You've got 3 youths clearly breaking into some sort of pawn shop while people around just watching film. No cops anywhere, just crime. And then the camera pans over and, oh, that's interesting. There's a little church there. I do recognize that church. I cycle all through London. I've seen a lot of churches, but this one I actually saw when I made a video visiting Derby, which of course is in the Midlands, 250 kilometers away from London. Yeah, that's St. Peter's Church. But wait. This video is titled Robbery in London and Broad Daylights. Ah yes, broad daylights. That's definitely not an AI broken English sentence. No, broad daylights, yeah. The broad daylights of the small London constituency of Derby. Still a better place than Nottingham. But okay, maybe it's not London, but what happened to law and consequences, right? Let's move the goalposts, just keep moving them. Well, with the almighty power of Google, I found the BBC article saying all 3 of the men involved in this burglary on St. Peter's Street in Derby were in fact arrested. So, what exactly is the story here? The story is, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about London? The average person isn't analyzing videos and tweets like this. They see the caption, they see the video, London very, very scary. And the more they see posts like this, however untrue, the more they feel like London is fallen. London is falling apart, M-switch for hyphen. Statistics show that the UK's capital has become a living hell, citation needed. Every year, 950,000 crimes hit the city, citation needed, M-switch for hyphen, including up to 10,000 rape cases, citation needed, and nearly 17,000 stabbings, citation needed. If this isn't a war, then what is? Oh, a war. Wasn't there some sort of Epstein-loving American billionaire saying civil war in Britain is inevitable, just a question of when? Yeah, it's weird that the platform Elon Musk bought to amplify extreme right-wing ideology is in a constant state of amplifying extreme right-wing ideology. An Amnesty International analysis of X's open source code revealed that the platform's content ranking algorithms literally prioritize the type of content that can spread misinformation and hate. In response to the news of the inevitable civil war in his country, Rob from Derby jokingly says he barely escaped with his life yesterday in the Peak District. So scary. It's almost as if when Brits hear anything scary about London, they go, oh yeah, sure, that makes sense, which constitutes the data from this graph showing that 2/3 of people not in London think London is unsafe. But when they see the laughable claims about their area, where they have lived experience, well, they laugh going, oh no, that can't be true. I go outside in my local area, and my perception is it's actually pretty safe. From the same YouGov poll, 87% of Britons think their local area is a safe place to live. Wonder why that is. But the big issue here is this group of data. 81% of Londoners think their local area is safe. Well, that's not gonna work to push this whole Civil War narrative, is it? Londoners actually live in London. You know, they go outside. They know it's safe. So we need to find a different angle. Maybe we can broaden it to simply, London bad. We can make sure the online algorithms heavily push this narrative that London is overwhelmed with foreigners and chaotic and scary at night to those not from London. But for those in London, they live for the busy streets. They're incredibly accepting of immigrants, so we must target them with the exact opposite. Event photo shoot just finished in Chiswick, and on my way home, I'm old enough to remember when London had a nightlife. This is Shepherd's Bush, now at 10:10 p.m. on a Saturday night. A ghost town. As a Londoner, this does speak to me. London nightlife used to be so much better. It was like wild and crazy. Me and my friends would go from pub to club at night. We'd wander around the streets. There'd be people everywhere. And so much of that seems to have changed. Well, I have gotten older, so I'm not actively going out at night that often, but what happened to London's nightlife, you know? Well, I can tell you, it's never really been in Shepherd's Bush. Or Shepherd's Bush, rather. So, as you might be aware, I lived 4 years in Chiswick and a further year in White City, so I'm actually quite familiar with this small stretch of Uxbridge Road in the video. If you're wondering why London's nightlife looks so dead here, well, let's just look at the shops available on this suburban through road. We've got a bakery, a betting shop, a beauty shop, glasses, chicken. Yeah, mate, should have gone to Specsavers. Why isn't this particularly quiet London suburb a nightlife mecca? Besides this part next to McDonald's, which is clearly not a ghost town, it also looks like the part of the road at the end of the video is currently under repair. So that could be a further reason the local residents of Cebu would choose to go out in proper London rather than look for a nice time at their local chicken shop. For Americans watching, just imagine this video was someone filming your local strip mall and asking why no one was out partying, your suburb is dead. And then interestingly, same account, same day, claims that too many people are headed into London that morning. There's too much traffic. London busy? Too bad. London dead? Too bad. London bad. I mean, it's gotten so bad in London that Rob here says, having lived near London my whole life, I'm shocked and saddened at how it has fallen. I was in a Costa and a homeless person came in and literally scooped up all the sandwiches and nicked them in front of everyone. I asked the server what they were going to do about it, and they said, we're told to do nothing. If we all do nothing, we will lose our capital city. Random crime stats, which makes theft basically illegal. Yet we're paying some of the highest taxes in the UK we've ever paid. Doesn't this make you mad? Why has London become this way? As crazy as the situation is, as having a homeless person, assumably hungry, stealing all the sandwiches in a London Costa, imagine how crazy it'd be if the same thing happened again. London has been ruined. I was in a Costa and the homeless person came in and literally scooped up all— Wait. This is December 16th. I thought it was January 13th. What are the chances? I guess London really has fallen. Oh, hold on, wait a second. No, now it's in King's Cross and December 10th. Okay, wait, June 7th? February 2nd? Wow, how weird that a grifter selling courses on how to make more money has made this about taxes as well. And he's lived near London his whole life. I mean, it says it right here in his account. The nearby London enclave of Peterborough. Oh, so like a proper shithole. Absolutely nowhere near London. Funny that. In fact, looking into actual data shows the city of Peterborough, which is 150 kilometers from London, has a violent crime rate which is 110% the national average. Oof. London must be so much higher than that, right? I mean, think of everything that we've seen today. Think of all the posts and news you've seen over the last 2 years about London. It's lawless, it's full of crime, it's unsafe, it's 87% of the national average. That can't be right. It's because none of the crime is being reported. It's lawless, remember? The crime happens, it's just not being reported. Well, I mean, according to data from the Office of National Statistics, police forces are recording crime more accurately now than 12 years ago in 2014. In 2014, the independent group tasked with assessing UK police estimated that 80.5% of all crimes were reported, whereas nationally, this number is now up to 92.4%, with London's Metropolitan Police sitting at 91.7%. And if you think about this just a little bit, it starts to make sense. Everybody has a camera in their pocket these days. How do you think these real crimes that you've seen on your feeds have been shot? That and CCTV is now incredibly cheap and available to put on your doorbell. Just like that clip that wasn't London but actually in Derby, how often, after seeing a clip of some sort of scawy crime, do you actually see the follow-up story? The criminals being caught? Well, that's not really gonna get you angry, is it? That's not gonna keep you on your feed. That's not gonna make you think London's bad. Why would your online algorithm show you that? As reported by The Standard, recent data shows London's murder rate is now lower than any US state, including New York, and sits below that of major European capitals like Paris, Berlin, and Madrid. In fact, the number of homicides recorded in 2025 was the lowest figure since current police recording practices began in March 2003. But that's not what I'm seeing online. Ah, okay. I'm glad you're with us. Come back to reality, please. But how can this make any sense? Check out this map of London's postcode sectors. What's the overwhelming color on this map? Is it more green or is it more orangey red? Well, it's a map of London's violent crime rate compared to the national average as of December 2025. And as with all cities, you have areas with higher rates of crime and areas with less. It's just that with London, the overwhelming majority of the city has less crime. This is why 81% of Londoners consider their local area to be a safe place to live, because it literally is, and they live in it. But that's reality, and increasingly so, the online world has fully broken from that. The next time someone shares with you some anti-London bullshit, be sure to send them this video so they stop feeling like London's very scary. You might be wondering, why is this happening to London in the first place? Well, easy reason number one, London is one of the most famous cities in the world. It is one of the most visited cities in the world. You know of London. London has been incredibly historically important all throughout history in the English-speaking world. Misinformation about Jakarta or Budapest aren't going to create as strong a negative reaction to keep you hooked. As you know London, it's usually seen as quite a nice place, but oh, this seems quite rough. It's such a contrast to what you'd expect. London is also a massive, diverse, and left-leaning city. As studies have shown, radical right populism is the strongest determinant for the propensity to spread misinformation. And what better place to spread disinformation about than the most famous left-leaning city in the English-speaking world, as a place to point to be like, see, this is bad. Just ignore the fact that this is all fake, but this place is bad, and I'm gonna help solve that problem. If you cannot bring people to your ideology by what it actually stands for, it's much simpler to lie and spread misinformation about society until your ideology conveniently becomes the solution to that warped reality. So what are we supposed to do about this? How are we, those cursed with critical thought, meant to combat the sheer amount of disinformation spewed daily online about our city or about our country, only for NPCs to repost the disinformation because, well, the imaginary world they live in online matches with their feelings? Emily Thornberry, the Labour chair of the Foreign Affairs Select Committee, said, "We must start a proper dialogue with social media companies about the ways their platforms are being used to spread lies from abroad and undermine our democracy. And we need to do it urgently." Listen, Emily, they fucking know. They're making buckets of money from it. You think they're gonna be like, "Oh, Emily, what? Misinformation on our platform? Well, we'll get to it right away. Thank you, Emily, appreciate that." Why are we pretending like the solution to this is not so blatantly obvious? Pop quiz. Why does this grifter share anti-Islamist content and lies about London on TikTok and Facebook on an hourly basis? Because she makes money from it. Well, why does this grifter share the same made-up story about London so many times on Twitter? Because he makes money from it. Why did this elected reform counselor share an AI-generated image and a ChatGPT-written text fear-mongering against migrants? Well, because he makes money from it. And he gets power from it too. The solution for all of these is the same. Remove monetization from accounts sharing blatant misinformation. TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, all of them. They're not gonna do this on their own. They profit too much off the disinformation. That's why they push them so heavily. Get mad, stay on the platform, watch some ads. When you get so mad, you watch some ads. Those ads really shouldn't be there. These are the sort of protective measures the UK government should put in place if it actually wants to protect its citizens. Not asking them to hand Peter Thiel their government ID if they want to look at adult content, not trying to ban VPNs, but by actively doing something about the disinformation. You've seen how successful disinformation campaigns worked on America. Look at what's happening over there now. And hey, I'm not saying the UK government should make it a criminal offense to knowingly spread disinformation. No. Just that it should not be monetizable. Platforms found to allow monetization on accounts showing active disinformation should be fined per infraction. And this isn't an attack on free speech. No, you can spread all the lies you want. You just shouldn't be able to make a living off it anymore. So these grifters sowing division with fake AI nonsense will have to find a new grift, whatever that may be. AI and disinformation are almost made for one another, as both seek to cast doubt on objective reality. Is that a real photo? Is London actually getting worse? By removing the certainty of reality and what you experience through your own eyes and through your own ears, misinformation and AI cause you to instead default to what you feel is right, as opposed to what is right. This causes a further collapse in one's own critical thinking when an image turns out to be fake. No one likes to feel they've been tricked, especially when they feel the message was right. Sure, this isn't a real photo, but it represents something I feel is going on anyway. The goalposts are moved, and people descend deeper and deeper into the fictionalized world of their choosing. In terms of our elected officials spreading disinformation like this, I would hope we could establish a similar system to the one for solicitors. In the UK, if you want to be able to call yourself a solicitor, you've got to be squeaky clean in all walks of life. There's an independent regulator, the Solicitors Regulation Authority, and they can take away the title of solicitor if your behavior, even outside work, is dishonest or brings the profession into disrepute. Like the story of a junior solicitor who thought he could evade paying for his 17-pound rail tickets by sneaking out the back of the station. The tribunal charged him $3,000 and took away his title of solicitor, just like that. And now he can't practice law. But if you're an elected official, someone trusted to make laws and shape national debate, there's no equivalent standard. You can knowingly spread AI-generated images like this, designed to mislead the public, and nothing happens, as long as it isn't technically illegal. If we really wanted a functional democracy, this really needs to change, and elected officials should be held to a higher standard. And I don't think anyone would really disagree with that, except those benefiting from spreading lies. But what can we do, the everyday person? I deleted the Facebook app from my phone a few months ago when I realized that 50% of the posts were ads, 40% were designed to stoke fear and anger in me, and 10% were the dregs of things I might actually want to see. Once Facebook figured out that I cycled, it made sure to fill my feed with visceral videos of cyclists getting hit by cars and drivers road raging against them. I also personally saw the Facebook group from my local area get co-opted by a failed and unelected Tory councillor who now just uses it to promote anti-immigration posts to try and sway public opinion towards reform. So the question was, well, why was I still using this app? Seems fucking awful, right? Well, so I deleted it. Since removing the app from my phone, I feel like my mental health has drastically improved. Also, I do not watch any algorithmically served short-form content, which is definitely something you should also consider if your honest assessment of your own consumption is that it's not beneficial to you. But that's your choice. But the most important thing you can do about this, go outside. I know it's a cliche, but touch grass. Since getting an e-bike, the last 2 years, I've cycled so many streets of London. I've seen the good, I've seen the bad, but most importantly, I've seen the real. There's a reason why London is constantly at the top of the rankings of most desirable city in the world. And I get to experience that London, real London, each and every day of my life, so long as I actually choose to go out and experience it. So if you want to know what London is really like, if you want to know why people in London say it's such a safe place to live, you're going to have to get offline and get outside. London will be here waiting for you. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find it's not such a scary place after all.